Tim, and I'm a field representative for Assembly Member Alex Lee. And I also want to point out my co-workers, my colleagues. Anurag Paul is our district director. He's the supervisor in the office. By the way, the office is located here in Milpitas, off of Milpitas Boulevard. And I'm also joined by Matthew Jorgens and Joe Wynn. They were in the front, they checked you in. So the four of us are in the district office, and we're there to serve you all. So you're going to learn a lot today with this seminar, but if you ever need help with any other state agency, give us a call, okay? All right, a few housekeeping items. We have water for you. The water is in the back. In the kitchen area, you'll see the water there. So if you need some water, feel free to get up, help yourself. The other thing, the restrooms are out in the hallway, and there's a couple there, and then there's some in front by the front doors. So 2 sets of bathrooms. And we have a question and answer period today. You're going to have plenty of time to ask questions of our panelists here, the experts. And so I would hold off on asking the question until the 30-minute question and answer period, okay? You might want to jot it down so you remember, but other than that, wait for the Q&A. Okay, now I would like to proudly introduce you to my boss, our boss, Assembly Member Alex Lee. Let me just say a few things about him first. Alex represents the 24th Assembly District, which you all reside in. He represents you. It covers the cities of Milpitas, Fremont, Newark, the Berryessa area of San Jose, and the town of Sonoma. Those are the communities that he represents in the state legislature, in the state assembly. Alex Lee was elected in 2020 and became the youngest Asian American legislator ever elected, and the first openly bisexual state legislator in California history. He currently chairs the Assembly Environmental Safety and Toxic Materials Committee, and he's homegrown. He's a Milpitas native, went to Milpitas High School, graduated from the University of California, Davis, where he served as student body president there. So, without any further ado, Assembly Member, and let me just say, unfortunately, he had been sick this past week, so we don't want him around you, but he's still nearby. Assembly Member Alex Lee.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Tim, and to my staff for such a wonderful event. I'm really, really sorry again that I cannot be with you all in person. This is a good reminder to always stay up to date with your shots and to always take care of yourself. So I'm really sorry I can't be there. I would look forward to it. But as my staff said, my name is Assemblymember Alex Lee. I have the great honor of proudly representing District 24. That's yourselves, residents of the State Assembly. And of course, want to thank the City of Milpitas and the Recreation Community Service Department for hosting us and allowing us to use this beautiful community room at the Barbara Lee Senior Center. And of course, also thank Mayor Carmen Montano, and I believe one other City Council member is probably here today. Also want to thank our co-host Supervisor Otto Lee and his office for running this special event. It's coincidental, we're at the Barbara Lee Center with 2 Lees. We are all not related to one another, but one could hope one day. And of course, I want to thank our partners, the contractors, State Licensing Board, the Department of Insurance, Department of Financial Protection and Innovation, and the Santa Clara County District Attorney's Office for being in Milpitas today, my hometown, to make their presentations, provide you with the latest information on current security concerns and scams. These agencies serve people in California and Santa Clara County well, and I look forward to hearing from the speakers today. Specifically, we are going to hear from these experts about common scams that target senior citizens and how you can protect yourself. You will learn how to protect yourself from various types of fraud related to financial, home improvement, insurance, telemarketing, and real estate scams. Remember, scams can come in many different shapes and forms and can often be difficult to identify. So the best thing you can do is what you're doing today, doing your research and making sure you have the right and best information at hand. Again, thank you for your participation, whether you're at the Senior Center in person or watching online like myself. I hope you'll find this seminar informative, and may you never become a victim of fraud or scams or bad business practices, but the folks here in the room are here to help. If you ever have trouble getting hold of the right resources or the right agencies, that's what our office is here to do. Our Milpitas office is always here to assist, whether you want to drop by in person or if you want to call us, we're always here to help you out. And of course, I want to thank my staff, Anurag, Tim, Matthew, and Joe for organizing today's event. It is an honor and a privilege to serve you all. And if my office can be of any help, please do not hesitate. All this information will be available to you today. Your presenters will also be leaving anything behind. And this recording itself, as in our custom, will usually be available for people if they need it. We've been hearing a lot from a lot of great experts today, so be sure to ask a lot of questions if you ever are in need. Great, so thank you so much and have a great day. I'll be watching virtually with everyone else.
Thank you. So thank you, Assemblymember Alex Lee. Now it is my privilege to recognize and introduce to you the mayor of Milpitas, Carmen Montano. Mayor.
Wow, it is great to be here today with all of you. So it is my pleasure to be here. So again, my name is Carmen Montano. I'm the mayor of this great little city of Milpitas. We welcome all of you here today. You know, the world has changed and is continuing to change. Life has become a digital life. Our lives all our personal information is now online. We depend on it for banking, for credit, you name it. They ask for everything online. And sometimes we even ask our grandkids, can you help me? And I'm sure that if I do it, I know that you do it too. The kids nowadays, the generation, they're experts at being online. With this digital new life comes us being aware. We need to be aware of our surroundings, and we need to be aware of the internet. We need to be aware of the information we put on Facebook, because there are criminals and tricksters that will use that information to benefit themselves. So the bottom line is that we need to be aware, because they scam seniors like us. They target us and they use scams, online fraud, identity theft, and more. So our goal here is to provide valuable information with these experts here to give you all the necessary tools, the information, so you can protect yourself. So thank you to the offices of Assemblymember Alex Lee and Supervisor Otto Lee and the city staff for making this event possible. Milpitas seniors deserve the best. And I also want to give thanks to our Vice Mayor, Evelyn Shua, because she did all the legwork to get the supervisors and the assembly members here to do this presentation. I'd like to invite her to come and say a few words. Thank you everyone for being here.
Thank you, Mayor. When it first got to my attention, Tim, the senior field rep of Assemblymember Lee, said, Vice Mayor, can we do an online scam for the seniors in your city? I said, that sounds interesting. What is it all about? And he said, it's preventing the seniors to be victims. I said, oh, I like that already. So he said he did this workshop over at Fremont, and at Fremont there were a lot of people like yourself attending. So today, if we can just prevent one of us to be a victim, we have done our job. And a couple of you reached out to me just now and said that they're already a victim. So I'm reaching out to the office of our district attorney. So if you have any questions later on, please reach out to him. And we welcome our friends from Fremont, Berryessa, Newark, and also our friends here from Milpitas. Thank you all so much for being here. And before I end, I would like to recognize our Milpitas commissioners. Commissioner John, thank you. Stand up, please. Please stand up. Yes, and Commissioner Barbara, she is one of our senior commissioners doing work for our seniors here in Milpitas. Thank you so much. Milpitas Unified School District Board Trustee Anu Naka.
One last job I have to do. Thank you, Vice Mayor and Mayor, for your comments today. All right, before we get started, I do want to acknowledge that our co-host is Supervisor Otto Lee, and so we appreciate that he's being supportive of this event as well today. So, and we have the Santa Clara County District Attorney's Office here, which is in the jurisdiction of Supervisor Otto Lee. So thank you, Otto Lee and staff, for supporting today's event. All right, we have our panelists, and this is what you all came to hear. So, and I do want to thank the City of Milpitas Recreation and Community Services Department. They put all the chairs out, they set everything up, they made sure that we had this beautiful venue for this event today. So thank you to your Recreation and Community Services Department. Okay, without further ado, we're going to get started. So our first speaker, and let me just make sure I have my order right here, will be Doraya Syed. Doraya is an outreach analyst with the California Department of Insurance. Doraya, it's all yours.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Sorry about that. Oh, I'm too loud now. Good afternoon, everyone. It's such a pleasure, and for me, it's homecoming because I came I was born and raised Pakistan, came to De Anza College, went to UC Berkeley, and now I live in Sacramento. So I have done business in Milpitas. I was a realtor here for a while before I moved to Sacramento. So it's exciting to come back. When I left here, I was not a senior, but now I'm coming back as a senior to present to all of you. So it's such an honor to do that part. So we are Department of Insurance. My name is Doraya Syed, and I'm the outreach analyst for the Department of Insurance. We also call it CDI. Today I will start with a brief overview of the department, and then I will discuss some common insurance scams that we see. So this is what the department does. Maybe you know or not, CDI is a state agency, and we regulate the insurance market. We regulate all kinds of insurance, from homeowners, auto, life, health, pet, to just name a few. We also regulate the insurance companies, the agent, and the brokers that sell insurance. Did you know that California is the largest insurance market in the US and the 4th largest in the world, collecting over $340 billion annually in premiums? As California's largest protection agency, all of CDI's functions are to provide consumers protection. We make sure insurance are solvent, we regulate agents and brokers, we conduct market reviews, we resolve consumer complaints. And I want to emphasize that part to you, because whenever I will go and you will see our number, our callback time is 2 minutes. So I will encourage you with your specific questions to call our hotline number or go on our website. And we have a live chat feature also. And we investigate and prosecute insurance fraud. So we have about more than 340 law enforcement officers working with us. But The one thing we cannot do, we cannot require or compel insurance companies to sell insurance. And sometimes people feel like we can do that. We regulate them. Once you have the insurance, then you are under our protection. But we cannot make them sell insurance to you. So why seniors are the most common fraud that happen to seniors? I believe, and this is my belief also as a senior, we are from very trusting people, because I came to Dianza College. At that time, we used to write our social security number on our exam papers. And I was just taken by it, it was a social security number. We never thought it will be, it will be taken by anybody or it will be robbed by anybody. But it was called first alien number, and then it became a social security number. We had that on our exams and tests and everything. So we are very trusting. So we have to relearn not to trust that much. And it's okay to be mean once in a while on the phone. And report indicates seniors are the largest population because we have accumulated wealth. We have money accumulated in our homes, life insurance, and retirement savings. And we want to also make sure, as the Department of Insurance, that you have this knowledge, what is okay and what is not okay. So the biggest thing that we hear, one of the most popular involving insurance, is an annuity. And that's because California spent an average of $20 billion in annuities. An annuity is a contract between you and the insurance company. You buy it by making one of more premium payments, and they in return make income payments to you for a fixed period of time in future. It's often used as an investment vehicle for retirement income. It's sold by licensed insurance agent, usually those with a financial background. Growth in annuities are also tax deferred. Annuities are great for some, but lousy for others. So you have to be very careful, because most annuities have 7 years surrender charge. There is a big penalty for you to take your money out early. So, but the agents love to sell annuities because there is a big upfront commission to buy an annuity, and then your agent contacts you 12 or 18 months later if they have sold you one annuity and said, you know what, I found a better annuity for you, and you need to switch now. We want you to be careful. Take your time. Think about it. What are the implications for you? You most likely will be hit with the penalty for early withdrawal, but it's another upfront commission for the agent, and you might even have a tax implication on it. So you have to be very careful with that. But if you have a financial advisor that you're used to of it, who has been doing your financial things, know your financial goals, your risk tolerance, and suggest adding to that, then it's okay. And why it makes sense and if he can explain it to you, or she can, then why it makes sense to have the diversified portfolio, then it can be a right investment for you. Do not make the decision to buy an annuity overnight. Sleep on it. And also talk it over with a family member, someone you trust. Actually, we always emphasize to the senior, talk it to over family member, and like the mayor said that grandkids can help you too. But I also want grandkids also, when they are doing something, to consult the seniors too, because I think nowadays the crimes are so prevalent that you have to have a trusted member to look over whatever you are putting, doing. And so basically that's one of them. So we want you to do that. There are other scams that are out there. Premium theft. Other common scams, and people don't think it happens, but it does. Premium theft occurs when you buy an insurance policy from an agent and they never actually buy it for you. And the policy with the insurance company is, you're like, how can that happen? Because I have the receipt, I have the copy of the policy, and I get the statements. Well, some scam agents, whether they are currently licensed or not, go to great lengths to steal. We have arrested and prosecuted those agents, every year we prosecute those agents for grand theft. elder abuse, money laundering, security violations, and also aggravated white-collar crime. So on our website, and that's what everybody will say also, go and check the license when you are, you are working with that agent. The license will tell you the history of the agent, the license is current or not, and also it will also list all the license record, like company profiles as well as enforcement actions that we have taken. Then the other one is staged auto accidents. Believe it or not, it happens. And it still occurs on a regular basis. If you get into an accident and you think it's your fault, but you get the gut feeling that something is wrong, and it doesn't feel right, so don't accept your fault, okay? Take a deep breath. Don't feel rushed to make any decisions at the accident scene, and don't admit your fault at all. Call the police, report to your insurance company. Just share the information per DMV about like driver's name and address, registered owner's name and license number. Do not tell anyone about your insurance policy or the coverage limits. Listen to your instinct. Call the police. Call your insurance companies. Although they are no longer as prevalent, but still it happens on a regular basis. So just go on the gut feeling. Then it's COVID-19 insurance fraud. It's not that prevalent anymore, but it was. Where the scammers prey on your fears by offering you COVID-19 tests. They will come to your door and say that we are just doing a swab testing or something. Actually, they're just after your information. They just want to get your information. So, we have to be very, very stingy about our personal information. And CSLB and the FBI will talk about it too. Once the scammers have your personal information, they can use it to fraudulently bill federal health care programs or commit medical, theft. If Medicare or Medicare deny the claim, then you could be held responsible for the cost also. So you have to be very careful about sharing your personal information. And again, if you suspect fraud, take action, report it immediately to the office of Inspector General online at oighha.gov or call 1-800-447-8477. I also want to mention one more, which is not on this slide, but it is about when you get calls. I get calls all the time, and all of you probably have got the calls about vehicle warranty, okay? Unlicensed companies are selling extended vehicle warranties, sometimes called vehicle service contracts, and through robocalls. And if you pick up the phone and here we are trying to reach out to you about your extended warranty, hang up the phone. That's it. You don't need to go even further than that. Please be aware, it is illegal in California to sell extended vehicle warranties over the phone. So they cannot do that. Or through the internet. If you have been sold one of those policies, please do call us because there's something wrong. Oops, I think my paper. It's, yeah. And then what are the signs? What are the insurance scam warning signs, okay? So some agents often target senior citizens and use various schemes to fraudulently gain victims' trust and cultivate friendship in order to steal money from them. So be on your guard and exactly protect your information. We all know the saying, if it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true, okay? So I'm a first-generation immigrant here, and I have learned very early that if it's a free seminars, they're selling something cheap, okay? It's for their own benefit, And they usually do the free seminars at like retirement communities, places of worship, nice restaurants for a free, and I receive these invite all the time. The other thing is the agent offers to create and update a living trust in order to see your financial information. They are trying to find new clients that can potentially be worth a lot more money to them than the free living trust they are offering. So they want your financial information, again, guard it, And then seniors have more rights when it comes to insurance, and it's called Senior Insurance Bill of Rights, and I will show it to you, the pamphlets that we have and how you can look at the full list of it. And one senior right is that you may review your life policy, life, annuity, long-term or Medicare supplement for 30 days after you receive the policy in order to decide whether you wish to keep it or not. And if you decide you do not want the policy, you can return it for a full refund, except if it is variable annuity. So, what can you do to avoid being a victim? Check the status of the insurance company and the agent on our website. Answer all the questions when you are filling out the application. Answer all the questions. Don't leave any blank space, because dishonest agent can fill in the blanks. So don't leave the blanks. Get everything in writing and compare policies. Don't pay with cash at all. Make checks payable to the insurance companies, not the insurance agent. And don't buy coverage you can't afford. Only the coverage that you need. Avoid being over-insured and underinsured. You need to be right, and call us. Again, call us. We have experts, okay? And ask questions, what does this policy will cover? What is covered what is covered and what is excluded? Remember, bold prints are not there to read. It's the fine prints that we need to read. And also, now we all wear glasses, so use your glasses, read the fine prints, okay? It's very important. If I cancel the policies, what are the penalties? You need to know that before. Is it suitable for me in my current situation? And please never feel pressured or intimidated by that, okay? Agents know they can never sell something under high pressure. Consider having a trusted person with you, like I said before, and never sign anything you don't understand. And the important part is that when people are selling things, that's the time to ask questions. That's the time to read fine prints, okay? Take your time, and we're advising all the seniors to do that. And then, again, if you have any question, call us, and let our expert review that policy with you, Additionally, I also want to share these numbers, and if you have your camera, take a picture of these numbers. They are the first three ones are about reporting the fraud, and the last one you can go and look at the. So so these are the three are the one that you want to report the fraud, and the last one is the coalition product. And then these are the resources. So we have a senior gateway. It's very close to my heart because I manage this website. So Senior Gateway is hosted by CDI, but there are 10 agencies that they have that information on our Senior Gateway website, and I have postcard back there and also in the front if you haven't picked up that thing. And it's basically a website with all the information about avoiding and reporting abuse and neglect, preventing fraud, financial abuse and common scams, healthcare information. So please visit. It's www.seniors.insurance.ca.gov. And this website has stuff from Department of Aging, Commission on Aging, so 10 agencies are there on this website, And we also have events on that, okay, and educational seminars offering. Also our senior information guides. We have the QR code right there. Also, so all the guides that you see in the back and outside, it's available on our website. So if you go on our website, you can just go and download any one of them, okay? And then I want to let you know that I'll be going a little bit early. So if you have any questions, Timmy is here. He's going to send it to me, anything, and we respond to you really fast on that. So our hotline number, 800-927-2727. HELP or 4357. And that's our website, and all the information is on our website. I'm also going to share some things with you that is back there so you know. Like I talk about annuities, this brochure is back there and on our website. Then there is another program that seniors qualify. It's called California Low Cost Auto Insurance Program. And this program is sponsored by the Department of Insurance. And Department of Insurance kind of have this program for low to moderate income families, drivers with good record. It's a very cheap insurance, and I have the information back there also. It's called CLCA, My Low Cost Auto Insurance. And the best part about it is that just go and check. Maybe you don't qualify, you have a grandkid who's going to college to qualify for that, because it's for low to moderate income people. And then we have informing seniors. We have it back there. If you don't pick up that, we have a one-pager. I love one-pagers. So one-pagers, and I have consolidated this in one page. So, if you are the one who want to, and its QR code is there that will take you to the website. And then driving for seniors, as we become seniors, our driving requirements change, things change. So it's about that all there. And like I said, that our one-pager, it's actually 2 pages, it's back there. And also, you are here in Milpitas, but if you need, or we have all these people who are outreach analysts in the community. I have about 26 counties, 65 cities, few legislatures, so we all have divided our work that way, that we can reach out to you if you need anything from us. So, thank you so much. It's honestly such a pleasure being here, coming back to Milpitas. It's an amazing part of my trip. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Doraya. We really appreciate that. Remember, these folks are driving from Sacramento, from those state departments. So thank you so much for taking the time today and giving the presentation. I do want to remind everybody just a couple of things. One is, if you didn't have a phone and you weren't able to get that photo, we will provide the entire PowerPoint presentation to you next week. All you have to do is grab one of the cards that's on the table out in the front, fill it out, check that you want the PowerPoint presentation, and it's yours. All right, so all that information is going to be at your hand. You can have another show with your grandkids and your loved ones, right? Your family, let them know about it as well. All right, our next 2 presenters, we have Miguel Galarza, and we have Stephanie Gutierrez Valdez, and they both come from the Contract State License Board. Stephanie is another outreach coordinator with the CSLB, and Miguel, we have the honor of having Miguel here. He's a Bay Area native. He is a board member on the Contractor State License Board. There are only 15 board members, and he's a governor's appointment. So we're honored to have you here, Miguel. Of course, Stephanie, you're the expert at doing these presentations, but we are honored to have the board member here. So it's all yours. The floor is yours.
Hello. Hello, everyone. I want to thank the Office of Assemblymember Alex Lee for coordinating and inviting us to participate. I also want to thank all community leaders for taking the time out of their busy schedule to be here. We greatly appreciate your time. And lastly, I want to thank each and every one of you who have decided to spend your afternoon coming out to listen to the various resources that we have to offer. And I hope that if you take away anything from this, we as the state agency are here to ensure that we can protect your rights as senior citizens and constituents. So I am here to present board member Miguel Galarza. He is actually going to be presenting today. Board member Miguel Galarza was appointed to the Contractor State License Board as a B construction member by Governor Gavin Newsom in July of 2020. Miguel Galarza has over 45 years of construction industry experience and is the founder and president of Yerba Buena Engineering and Construction, Inc., a general contractor specializing in work for federal, state, and local government agencies. He is a member of various industry associations, including the Associated General Contractors of America's National Diversity and Inclusion, and serves as the district director for the San Francisco chapter of Associated General Contractors of California. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Miguel.
So I'm going to try and not stand behind this thing and kind of be able to target a little bit. So contractor state license board, we have over 300,000 contractors in the state of California and doing various different things, A license, B license, general contractor, special license.
Mike, where you?
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay, my apologies. There are over 40 locations, and it's a big organization, and we do a lot of different things. And as board members, our main focus is to make sure that we protect our consumers. And as such, that's what we're here today, is to make sure that the consumer is protected from unscrupulous and unlicensed contractors. And so how do you protect yourself from that? Why should you be protecting yourself? Most of you all here, for good, bad, or indifferent, have gray hair, right? What does that mean? That means you spent a lifetime earning your money, being protected, and making sure that you make good decisions your whole life, and making sure that you put that nest egg away so that you can take care of yourself and have something for your children or your descendants coming forward. That makes you a target. You have money because you've worked your whole life, and somebody wants to take away that money. So we're here to make sure that doesn't happen to you, and at least give you some good sound advice on how you can protect yourself from those things. We're trusting in nature, so just make sure that you be very attentive to who's approaching you and why they're approaching you. It's okay to say no. Just say no. I'm not interested. I don't need your services. I don't know you. Maybe I don't even want to know you. But the fact remains is just make sure that if it doesn't feel right, it probably isn't right. And a lot of you may be tempted to, entertain the discussion. I was thinking about getting the roof done. I was thinking about painting the house. Get a proposal. Don't do anything verbally that cannot be substantiated in court. If it's not written down, it doesn't count. Make sure you always get a written contract. This is one pitfall that so many of our seniors fall into. And I'm going to drill this in. It's super important. If somebody asks for 30% down, bing, 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 red flag. Close the door, say I have to use the restroom, I'll be back, don't answer the door again. Okay? It is a statutory law that you cannot ask for more than $1,000 down. Period. Full stop. Or 10%. Or whichever is less. So let's just do the math. If it's a $10,000 job, how much should the down payment be? Right? 10% of $10,000 is going to be not $1,000. That's too much. Okay? So just make sure that you do the math, and if it ends up being too much, it's a warning sign that you're going down the wrong path. Do not overpay. Always ask for the contractor's license. What is that? I'm going to show you what it is. Every year, every 2 years, I get one of these. This is like a driver's license for contractors. Okay? It's going to be on the slide. But I will show you, even me as a presenter, I carry my license with me all the time. If a contractor comes to your door and doesn't have one of these white cards, like a California driver's license issued by the state board license, they're not a contractor. They're not legitimate, and they shouldn't be doing business with you. You shouldn't be doing business with them. There is an expiration date on this card. Make sure you read the expiration date. Just because they have a card doesn't mean it's valid. Just like a driver's license, they expire. And when they expire, that means you're not current. And if you're not current, you're not licensed. Okay? So just make sure that you see those cards. Say you get into a situation that you got taken advantage of. Don't procrastinate. Call the line. Make sure that you make a complaint immediately, as quickly as you feel that you've been taken advantage of. It could be in mid-contract. You could have had a signed contract, but they're not living up to their obligations. You're being scammed. Okay? Don't hesitate. Don't give the benefit of the doubt. Because the benefit of the doubt is going to do what? It's going to end up costing you money, and you're not going to have your work done. Okay? So very important to recognize the warning signs. What's the best way to approach getting good pricing from contractors? Let me see that. I skipped one to no. The best way, you see that? There's my trustee contractor's driver's license card. It's gold if you're a contractor. It's a warning sign if you don't have it. Okay? Get 3 bids. What does that mean? If somebody's come, I've been in business 30 years. Okay? I'm not knocking on anybody's door. You probably use the exercise of the walking more. But I don't do that because I have plenty of work. I have plenty of work because we do good work and we're referred to our clients. So, use your network. Use your network for everybody who knows, who's had work done, and reward the good contractors with a reference. And make sure you pass that contractor out to your friends, your neighbors, that he did good work. He was fair, he was reasonable, and he did a good job, and he honored his contract. That's the best way to protect yourself. Having somebody knock on the door and ask for work, well, there are not enough contractors out there. That's a warning sign. You should be careful. Because the salesperson is not going to be the person who's fixing your roof. He did his job, he sold the contract, he moved on, you'll never see him again. He was such a nice guy. He just told me what I wanted to hear. What happened to Johnny? How come I don't see Johnny here anymore? Well, Johnny's a salesman and he's moved on. Okay? So be careful of that. Ask for proof of insurance as our insurance commissioner. What does that mean? That means you don't get a COI. Write those acronyms down. COI. Certificate of Insurance. Test your contractor. Can you send me a COI? If he scratches his head, he doesn't know what it means. That's a bad sign. A COI is like your wife's name, okay? Or her birthday. You gotta know what a COI is. And a COI comes from not the contractor, but the issuer of the insurance. Because the contractor can give you a fake COI. He can give you something that he forged. It doesn't mean that he has insurance. It just means at one point in time, he had insurance. And with today's technology, you can simply just redact it, change the date, and all of a sudden he's got no insurance. He's got current insurance. Never accept a certificate of insurance directly from the contractor. Full stop. Full stop. Always get it directly from the insurance company via an email. If you're going to be doing contracting, you're going to be remodeling your home, and you don't have an email, you need to get an email. Okay? Business is done in email. People are going to fax you things, and the only way you can tell that it's not fake is by looking at the email address. if it's coming from an insurance company, you'll see that. And I have a return address you can call. Is this a real insurance certificate? Another thing, the state of California has had major problems with contractors who are remodeling houses. They got 6 guys on the job, and they don't have workman's comp. And you're saying to yourself, why should I care if he has workman's comp or not? Well, you should care. Because if somebody gets hurt on your piece of property, guess who has the deepest pockets? It's not the contractor that doesn't have workman's comp. It's you that owns the home and has liability insurance on your home. So guess who's going to pay for that workman's comp claim? Yes, you will end up paying for that workman's comp claim because you didn't realize how important it was that the contractor have workman's comp if he's going to have employees on your job. Now, he may not call them employees. He may just say they're all independent contractors. But at the end of the day, workman's comp is required for anybody that works on your job. Just remember that. So in an insurance certificate, you should see general liability, and what else? Workman's comp. Those are clearly defined on an insurance certificate. If you don't understand how to read it, who do you call? Department of Insurance. They'll explain it to you. Okay? So you're making down payments again. Just a pop quiz. How much should you ask? How much is the most you should pay for a down payment? 10% or and if what? Whichever is lowest, right? That's where people make their biggest mistake. I just need $5,000 to get started. I need to buy material. If he needs your money to buy material, you're in trouble. Okay? Now, this is not on the slide. That's really important to remember. When you are negotiating the contract, you're expecting it to be done what? In a timely fashion, which requires a schedule, right? On this day, we're going to do this. On this week, we're going to do this. On this, by the end of the month, we will be done there. And we will have inspections on these specific dates. Why is an inspection important? Because it proves that he did your job the way the city is going to accept it. Okay? So if an inspection is not approved, why should you be paying for this work? Never pay before an inspection. The inspection that is approved is the basis for the payment. If you don't have a signed off inspection, maybe a plumbing inspection, electrical inspection, framing inspection, doesn't matter. There are going to be multiple inspections when you do a job. Every time there is a sign off on the car by the city inspector saying, yes, it was done properly, he gets paid. Full stop. Don't pay a person before the inspection because he will never come back and finish the inspection. Okay? They'll never fix it. If he wants to get paid, he's going to do it right, and you're going to have a good job. Okay? You have 4 years after a job to make a complaint as a senior citizen. It's one of the few benefits besides going to the movies cheap. And at 45 days, and you have 5 days to cancel a contract. Okay? If it doesn't feel right, you called your neighbor and said, oh yeah, don't be afraid to talk to your neighbor. That guy sold me that job. He did a terrible job. Thank God I called you. Right? In ignorance, we pretend like we know everything. Feel free to reach out to your network and make sure that you protect yourself from the unscrupulous people that are out there. And share those that are not doing the right way, and make sure you share those that are doing the right thing. I'm going to tell you right now, solar is not free. Full stop. Solar is not free. Okay? I've been on the board for 4 years, and I can't tell you how many sad stories I hear about people who have lost their house through foreclosure, through taxes, and all these fees associated with financing. It's very sad. I know how hard I've worked for my home, and all of you have worked a lifetime for the equity in your home. And to think that you're getting something for free, like solar, and to lose your home because of that is it's troubling. The state of California and the Contractor State License Board has millions in recovery. And that is the biggest complaint at CSLP is solar fraud. Okay? So stay on the grid. If you want to protect yourself, I'm not saying that solar's bad, but realize there's no free lunch, okay? Be wary when you get a copy of this presentation from the Assemblyman. Make sure you look at this slide, and you make sure you pay attention to these types of finance programs. These are the biggest culprits of fraud in solar that is out there. Be very cautious, people, okay? Just like, all I can say is, this hurts more seniors in contracting than anything in the state of California. Be very cautious. How do you prevent people from getting ahead of their work? What do you do? What do you require? Require an approved inspection. Never feel sorry for anyone who's not meeting their obligations of the construction schedule. Yeah, I know we were going to pour the foundation last week, but you know, my guys, we had another job, you know, I could really use some help. Hey, I totally get it. I really respect the fact that you've got a lot of jobs, but you got to understand, we have a contract. We have a schedule. You wouldn't want me to break my own contract, would you? Turn it on. Make them realize that you're a senior for a reason. You've been smart enough to live this long, I ain't fooled either. So make sure they know that. Don't let them push your buttons, you push back. Okay? When you have a good contract and you have a good a schedule, you can take care of yourself. Now the schedule should be what we call cost loaded. What does that mean? Foundation, $3,000. Framing, $6,000. Electrical, $2,000. Plumbing, $4,000. Every activity has an agreed cost to it. Okay? Be very careful about a technique that unscrupulous contractors use. It's called front loading. You got a $20,000 contract, and foundation is $18,000 of it. You just got paid for 3/4 of the job and just did one activity. You still got the framing, it's got the electrical. It's a mutually agreed schedule of values. It's mutually agreed to. If it's got too much money up front, reject it. You write it out the way you believe it is, and then you go forward with that. So be very careful about what we call front-loaded schedules. Okay? That means you're putting too much money up front, and you're left holding the bag when the job doesn't get done. Okay? Well, we agreed to this, right? Once it's in the contract, you've agreed to it. You gotta live by it. Protect yourself. Okay? Check the license. The website's beautiful now. All you gotta do is click one button, type it in. If he's a Hispanic guy, and he doesn't look Hispanic on his contract, and the name doesn't look right, if it doesn't look right, it's not right. Okay? It's so easy to research a name, a contractor on the internet. If he's got a track history, that's great. It'll be there. If you got bad track history, it'll be there as well. Okay? Protect yourself. Be diligent. Don't assume it's right just because he's got the paperwork. And our director, Dave Folk, says the best way seniors can protect themselves against construction fraud is to check the license on the website and always get at least 3 bids. Okay? So 3 bids being you get 3 different contractors that give you 3 different painting prices, 3 different contractors that give you 3 different electrical prices. Bottom line is not only you will see that everybody's right in the same ballpark, This is a $3,000 job, and I've got 3 prices that are around $3,000, and I've got 1 price that's $20,000. Something's not right here, okay? I think the 3 bids that are in the $3,000 range make sense. They're all paying it straight. If you have these outliers, somebody gave you a price for $500 to do a $3,000 job, that's a bad sign. You got a price, somebody gave you a $10,000 price for a $3,000 job, that's a bad sign. So that's the purpose of getting 3 bids. But most importantly, use your network, references. If they're saying, hey, I can't get you for 6 months, what does that tell you? It tells you he's so busy because he's so good and he's so popular that you gotta wait in line. But that's okay, because you're gonna get your work done right. Okay? Somebody who's got nothing going on in this market, ding, 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 ding. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great evening.
Thank you very much, Miguel. Quite informative so far, right, everyone? All right, and we're just halfway through. Another reminder, and that is the panelists, the presenters have left brochures for you. So on your way out, you can grab those brochures. There's some in the back tables there and on our check-in table. So be sure to do that as well. And again, the PowerPoint presentation will be provided to you if you request it. Okay? All right. Our next presenter is from the California Department of Financial Protection and Innovation. His name is Ku Lee. He's the Outreach Director for the department. Take it away.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the time and the opportunity to come talk to you. I do want to thank Assemblymember Lee, no relation to me, for the opportunity to be here, and also thank you for taking the time. Again, my name is Ku Lee. I'm the Director of Targeted Outreach. My email address is right there. If you want a copy of the slides, please feel free to email me. I'm more than happy to send you a copy of all these slides. I also have some of the copies at the back, so meet me in the back later. I can give you a printout of our slides. All right, so today we're here to talk about protecting yourself from financial frauds and scams. First, a little about our department. The Department of Financial Protection and Innovation, also known as the DFPI, is California's licensing and regulatory agency of state financial institutions, products, and professionals. So things like state-chartered banks, state-chartered credit unions, payday lenders, mortgage loan originators, mortgage servicers, also money transmitters, student loan servicers, brokers, dealers, investment advisors. We license and regulate them, and we also examine them, so that's kind of like an audit. So the other component of what we do is we provide financial education and consumer awareness presentations throughout California. One component of what we're going to do today is talk about protecting yourself from financial scams and fraud, but we also do presentations about a lot of other financial literacy topics. So things like building a budget, improving your credit, buying a home, preparing for retirement. So a lot of different financial topics that we cover, and we just do presentations all over California. I have a number of different staff members that does this. And then of course there's a link to our website right there. So how is the DFPI promoting consumer awareness? Again, I talked about having staff members. We do a lot of in-person presentations and a lot of virtual, like webinars. We do workshops, seminars, and 1-hour presentations on a number of different financial topics. Our website has news and consumer alerts that we publish, and then we also have a crypto scam tracker. You may or may not be interested in crypto, but we track a lot of the crypto scams that are happening, and we publish them on our website. So if you're interested in getting into a certain crypto investment or asset, you could always go to our website and check to see if it is a particular type of scam, and then get more details about it. And then of course we do a lot of different events, and we provide a lot of investor education. A lot of those resources are on our website. We have free publications, a lot of free publications, so things like Protect Yourself from Fraud. We have a booklet about that. We have things about money, transmitting money, payday lenders, student loan servicing, Bill of Rights. It's all available on our website and in print. All you have to do is email us, and if you want the print version, we're more than happy to send it to you. We can send you a number of different copies. We also have a YouTube channel where we publish all of our webinars and other videos too, so feel free to visit that and subscribe to us. All right, as Miguel had talked about the PACE financing program, he mentioned it and very excellent remarks here. The DFPI licenses and regulates PACE administrators. I'm going to go just a little bit more, but exactly what Miguel was talking about. PACE it stands for Property Assessed Clean Energy. It's a program which helps homeowners finance energy efficient and water saving improvements on their home. The problem is there's a lot of misleading sales tactics out there. As Miguel said, you may hear about commercials or radio ads where someone says, get no cost solar, or the government has a program where they're giving you solar for free. That is very misleading. And as Miguel was saying, we receive a lot of complaints about that as well. And yes, a lot of people lost their homes. The way the PACE program works is, if you're interested in getting solar or any kind of other energy efficient improvements on your home, it's a financing program that you don't have to pay up front, but that cost for the solar or any other improvements gets added onto your taxes. So your county taxes, your assessment, and what happens is your mortgage goes up in cost, right? And so a lot of people lost their homes to that. So briefly, just want to confirm exactly what Miguel is saying. Hey, you want to verify the contractor with the CSLB, that's Contractor State License Board, before you start work if you're thinking about doing or financing with PACE. You also want to verify the lender who is going to be financing, and also there's a lot more information talking about PACE. Again, I don't want to dive too much into it, but it was a very big problem a long time ago, and we still license them. It still is a thing. And yes, exactly what Miguel is saying. There's no such thing as free lunch. There's no such thing as free solar. You want to definitely read and verify and read all the details. Pay attention to the fine print. Okay. One thing we're seeing a lot of, again, with the rise of dating apps, social media, online connections, romance scams. It is one of the big things that we're seeing a lot of. And so, in 2022, 70,000 people reported a romance scam with a lot of significant losses. And I'm going to talk a little more about, let's go, sorry. So there's some big red flags. One of the things that, let's say you make a connection online or through an online dating app, and even though you've never met them, there are some red flags that should tell you that there is a scammer who is trying to get or take advantage of you, right? One of them is that they're very, very far away, across the nation, maybe overseas, right? Their profile seems too good to be true. They're saying a lot of things that they can't back up. Another red flag is if the relationship is moving too fast, right? They want to start getting your personal information. They want to know a little bit more about you. They're getting that. They're having those conversations. Could be a chat. Could be email exchange. Could be even phone calls. They're trying to get your personal information, right? And then, of course, they could break promises to you, especially if, let's say, you guys decide to meet up, and then they don't show up, and then they have some weird excuse, right? They also ask for money, or the big one is, it's the cards, right? The gift cards, that's what it is. So if they're asking for money, like, can you send me, I have an emergency, I need X dollars, or I'd like you to send me a gift card to do something, that's a huge, huge red flag. And then, of course, if they require some kind of payment of any kind. So whether they're saying, unable to continue to call you, I need you to help pay my phone bill or something like that, right? So romance scams, a big one that we're seeing. It's not just California, it's statewide. pay attention to those red flags, and talk to friends and family, because sometimes when you're developing those close relationships, you might gloss over those relationship red flags, but your family members, your friends are going to be like, that sounds like a red flag to me, right? So your external connections are the ones who are going to help you point those out. Okay, just really want to quickly go over the different types of ways scammers contact you. These are just vocabulary things, but again, I want you to be a little bit familiar with the terminology. So phishing is the way is someone calling you. They might be leaving you a voicemail, might be calling you directly. It's just them, scammers, fraudsters calling you. Phishing is where they send you an email, right? They want you to click on a link. They want you to go to a website. They want you to enter in your login information on the website. Smishing is where they text you, right? You might be getting a lot of, for your mobile phone, you might be getting text messages where it says, your account payment is frozen or it's not working and please click here. Or it might even just say, hey, please reply back if you don't want us to contact you again. What they're really looking for is two things. Number one, they want you to go somewhere, do something. And most times it's to either a fake website, or they want your payment information or your login information. The other thing they want is they want you to reply back. Because once you reply back, they know that there's someone live on the other end, and then they can spam you, or they can try to contact you with different methods, right? So our recommendation, if you ever get any of these, right, whether it's telephone, computer, text message, do not respond to any of these methods that scammers are contacting you. And again, the reason is once you click on a link or you reply back, they got you into their database saying this is a live person, and even though the text message didn't work, maybe a phone call will. Maybe a letter will work, right? So again, for now, what you want to do is just ignore the phone call, or especially if you don't know what the phone number is, it's a weird area code, or the text message is from Chase Bank, but you don't have a Chase Bank account, so ignore those and delete them. And you can also report them. A lot of new smartphones or email platforms allow you to report phishing or scams, and what they do is those systems try to they log it in and try to filter those out for you and everyone else. All right. Just briefly going to talk about a couple of different trending frauds and scams. I know we talked about romance scams. Another one that we're seeing a lot of is grandparent and relative scams. That's where someone contacts you. It could be a phone call. It's mostly a phone call. Sometimes it could be a text message where someone is posing as a loved one. They might be posing as your nephew or your grandson or something, and they might be saying, "Oh, I'm in trouble, and I need you to send me some money." It could be someone posing as law enforcement and saying, "We have your grandson, we have your granddaughters, and they can't come to the phone, but we need you to send money to get them out of jail," or something like that. Could be like one thing we heard was someone was contacted by someone posing as a hospital nurse, saying that, "Hey, I'm calling because your daughter was hurt in a car crash. She can't come to the phone. Please send money over to help pay for her bills, her hospital bills," right? In those situations, what we tell people is contact your relative or your person directly, right? Don't believe what's on the phone. Just go call your granddaughter, whoever it is who's in trouble. Call them directly and try to verify that, right? If they can't come to the phone, call someone else who has contact with them. We're going to talk about AI scams a little more when it comes to relative scams in the next couple slides, but I'll just run through these other ones quickly. So credit card, debit card purchase scams, debt collector scams. This is something we're starting to see a little bit more of as well. It's where someone calls you and says, "Hey, you have a $6,000 medical bill in collections, we'll settle it for $1,000, right? You have rights when it comes to debt collection. And one of your rights is that you have a right to know where the debt came from and when it was charged and all that. So if someone's just calling you on the phone asking you to settle a debt, that's a huge red flag. And they should be able to give you all the information about that debt. So the next one is kind of government, the next one is government imposters, so things like IRS, Social Security, Medicare, they're posing as these agencies who are contacting you and trying to get your personal information. They might want you to log into a website, and what they're really trying to do is just, again, capture your login information, your passwords, or your personal information. Okay. And again, what we recommend is just do not respond to any of these attempts, right? They may call you, they may email you saying your information is out of date or something. Again, don't respond to these. Go directly to, if it's your utility company, they're calling you saying you need to update your payment information, call your utility company. Just hang up, call your utility company directly and say, hey, I just got a phone call. They're saying that they're going to shut off my water unless I pay XYZ dollars, right? Is this correct, right? So you could go direct to the source instead of relying on someone who's contacting you. Okay, artificial intelligence. I have a link here in the slides. If you get them emailed, you could watch the video. It's a great video. It's done by a journalist, and they show how easy it is for individuals to clone your voice. So they're using an AI software program to clone voices. What they do is they may clone the voice of someone you know, right? Especially if you have someone who posts a lot on social media. Maybe it might be a granddaughter who does a lot of TikTok videos, or it might be a grandson posting online video games. What they do is they copy their voice, and then they type in a message, and then they contact you, and then they use that voice to ask you for stuff, right? Hey, I'm in trouble. Please send me X dollars or something like that. And it's very, very convincing. So really what we recommend here is kind of two things. The first thing you may want to do is, hey, if someone is calling you, especially if you don't know who they are, but it sounds like your nephew, it sounds like a granddaughter, call them directly. Just say, hey, hold on a second, and then hang up, and then call them directly, call their mother, call their other point of contact, and verify, right? The other thing is, with my significant other, my wife, what we do is we use a passphrase. So if there's any kind of weird things that are happening, I usually do a pass challenge, and then she does the passphrase answer. And so we know exactly what's going on, right? It could be she might be under duress or distress, or if she's asking for money, I'll ask her for the challenge. She answers it correctly, then I know that I can send her money if she needs it, right? Just thoughts here. The DFPI is also, we had a press release go out. There are investment companies that are claiming to use AI to get big returns on investments. And we say use a lot of caution when individuals are claiming to use artificial intelligence to get big returns, okay? So just a big warning about that. I did want to show a couple of different things. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I did want to show you an example of phishing, right? You might get an email. Here are some big red flags. One of the big ones is the from email address is not correct. Other things you may notice is links that are not correct. And one other big red flag is if the letter is not using correct grammar, or it's got bad spelling. It's kind of a big red flags, because most scammers don't know how to write correctly or use grammar correctly. Sometimes scammers are sending emails to you from outside the United States. So they're using a translation program, and the program usually doesn't get the sentence structure correct. So those are red flags. And what we tell people is, if you get an email from, let's say, your bank account, and you're not sure about it, contact your bank directly. Go into a bank branch and just say, hey, I got this weird email saying something about my account. They'll verify if it's correct or not, right? Don't respond to this, especially if you have any kind of suspicion. Right. A couple of examples of text messaging that is trying to scam you, right? Again, we're seeing a lot of this as well. Things like text messaging saying, hey, your package is delayed, or please click here, right? Or your online transaction is paused, or your your money that you sent has been canceled, please click here. Again, they're trying to get you to respond back to them. Just going to briefly talk about money apps. If you're using any kind of money transmission apps, so things like Cash App or Zelle, we're seeing a lot of scams related to that too as well. What we tell people, what we tell our consumers is just verify, right? If someone's either trying to send you money or they're trying to get money from you, you want to confirm directly with them first. A new kind of thing that we're seeing is a scammer will ask to send you money, right? You'll get a text message saying, hey, I'm trying to send you $1,000. Click here to confirm, right? It's kind of a bait and scam type of thing. The other thing is if you accept a transaction, like let's say $1,000, $1,000 will be moved into your account, but it's pending. And then what will happen is the scammer will cancel the transaction, right? So the $1,000 never went to account, and then they'll dispute the charge with the company, and the company takes $1,000 from your account. So be aware of that. If someone's trying to send you money and you don't know where it's coming from or who the person is, don't accept it. Just a quick thing to talk about website safety. When you're looking at the address link for a website and let's say you're gonna buy something or you're gonna type in your login information, make sure it has an S, right? So HTTPS, S stands for secure connection. If it doesn't have an S, that means that it's not a secure connection. So again, if you're on a website, you're going to be typing in your login information. Make sure it has an S so that the login information is encrypted and secure. If you're going to buy something from, let's say, Amazon or another website, make sure that it's on an S website, a secure website. Otherwise, someone they could copy the data as it's being transmitted over, and they could copy your login or your personal information. All right. Very quickly, just want to talk about credit reports. If you have not, if you don't know, you're allowed one free credit report a year, and we recommend people check their credit report. There's 3 reasons why. The first one is you want to check for signs of identity theft. What does that mean? That means that someone could open up a line of credit. They can open a credit card, maybe a bank account. If they have the right information from you, they might do that, but it'll be on your credit report, right? Your credit report will say that you have these accounts open, and if you see some weird line of credit in Florida, you have no idea where it came from, you could always contact the credit bureaus and get more information about that. The other thing you want to do is make sure that your credit, any kind of things that you finish paying off, it's correct, right? Hey, it says that I still have a loan that's open, but I paid it off 10 years ago, right? Contact the credit bureau and let them know. Close this account. I've already finished paying this off, right? And of course, if you do have any issues, you could always file a complaint. You could file a complaint with us, the DFPI. You could also file a complaint with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, also known as the CFPB. Next slide will show you where you can submit a complaint to. So again, I'm from the DFPI, Department of Financial Protection and Innovation. You can file a complaint with us. You could also file a complaint with the Federal Trade Commission. The link is Report Fraud, which, by the way, if you feel like you've been frauded or a victim of a scam, you could always report it through them. The CFPB, again, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, there's a link there. The California Attorney's General Office, and then, of course, the California Department of Consumer Affairs, which the Contractors State License Board is out of DCA. You can submit complaints through there. A lot of people don't know that the DCA, right, Department of Consumer Affairs, also licenses a number of other professions. So automotive repair, barbers, I think dentists as well, a number of them. So if you do have any problems with those different entities, you can always submit a complaint. If you're not sure, you can actually just submit a complaint with us. And again, we work with the CSLB, we work with a lot of other agencies, and we can help send you in the right direction, whatever your complaint is. All right. I'm going to just briefly talk about crypto. I don't know if you're interested in it, but crypto is not licensed or regulated at all, and there's a lot of risk involved in it. And that's all I have to say. It's a difficult topic to talk about, but we do want to caution everybody who's interested in getting into cryptocurrencies, crypto assets, all that kind of stuff. Here's a resource page. Here's a page with a bunch of different links that has more resources on crypto. Again, I have a copy of the slides in the back if you want it. I'm not going to go through all this, but this is just kind of the key takeaways, right? Key takeaways of everything we talked about here. The big one, the two big ones is, well, actually, they're all really great, but we talk a lot about here, which is never give out your personal information. If you did not, we have these pins that I'm giving out in the back. You might be using it to write down notes right now. Those pins are what we call anti-theft gel pins. So that ink should not be able to be washed off, right? Something we've seen a lot of is called check washing, which is where someone, if you're sending out checks to pay bills, individuals may get that check, they may take that check out of your mailbox, they'll use like nail polish remover, they'll dilute it, and then wash the tube. They might even wash the amount, and then they'll write in whatever they want, and then they'll cash a check, right? So that's kind of check cashing fraud. Use that pin. That pin is an anti-theft pin. The ink is not washable, right? Okay, and yes, limit your information on social media if you're using it. That's where a lot of scammers kind of start. Okay, last thing is please stay connected to us. We have a monthly newsletter, and we do a lot of different events. And I want to just go back, and my contact information is, right there. Again, my name is Cooley. Thank you for the time. My email address is right there, and I'll be in the back if you have any questions or want to talk about anything else.
Thank you, Cooley. Again, very informative, very helpful. And now we have Joe Burdick, who is an investigator with the Santa Clara County District Attorney's Office. Joe?
Thank you. My name is Joe Burdick, and like you said, I'm an investigator with the Santa Clara County DA's office. My presentation is going to be a little brief because Ku actually had so much great information that a lot of it is going to be duplicated in mine, so I won't bore you guys with stuff you just heard a few minutes ago. So, let's see. Okay, so I work for the prosecutor of the county, so we investigate these cases at a criminal level. I'm essentially like a full-time detective. We do have a large bureau of investigation at the DA's office. We're all full-time detectives. In our unit, financial elder protection and the financial abuse specialist team is basically several different county agencies that are involved in when we have like a large value loss with a senior citizen in our county, then we'll all kind of get involved. It's us, Adult Protective Services, a few other agencies will step in and try and A, recover the money, and B, try and track down a criminal, the scammer. So today I'm going to kind of scare you guys a little bit with some of the stats. I don't think you guys have seen some of the more recent stats, but the FBI publishes a report, and these are the numbers that are from 2017 through 2021. And that's the number of elder fraud victims and total loss. And as you can see, it's gone down kind of between 2020 and 2021, but the number of lost dollars has gone up significantly. So that's $1.7 billion lost in 2021 through elder fraud scams. These are the number of, the top one is the states by the number of victims age 60 and older. As you can see, California, we're number one. that's us there, right? And then by loss, we're also number one. Texas is close behind, as well as Florida, but we're way up there. We're over the highest amount, obviously. So what is elder financial abuse? It's defined as somebody 60 or older. For prosecutorial purposes, it's actually 65, and that's just a penal code that we can get some enhancement out of it, but we'll still investigate it. APS sees it as 60 and older. And these are kind of like right out of the penal code. Basically, this is what we have to do to say, can we get a conviction for financial elder abuse? And it has to, like, basically they have to have knowledge that they're targeting a senior citizen and they're trying to steal money from them, essentially. So why, we heard this before, why target elders? You guys have the money, right? You've spent your whole lives saving, and they know that. So they're going to go after people who have money. They're not going to go after a 20-year-old who's just starting their career, probably have a lot of debt. They don't have the assets that you guys do. So due to the effects of aging, obviously, Alzheimer's and dementia, things like that, can have an effect on being more trusting, more gullible, and falling for these things more easily than somebody who's younger. Oftentimes, they'll target people who are living alone. Sometimes people just want somebody to talk to, right? These guys are actually really, really nice on the phone. They're great talkers, they're great salesmen, and they wouldn't be as successful as $1.7 billion just in 2021, right, if they weren't. And that's what you have to be wary of. These are people who you're not going to want to talk to, you're going to kind of want to have a conversation with them. And then it's embarrassing. It's difficult to go and tell family and friends that you lost a significant amount of money. These were kind of talked about, but these are some of the top scams that we're seeing, starting with like romance scam being the number one in total loss value. And then second, actually the highest in overall victims is tech support scams. And we'll kind of get into those a little more. So business imposter and phishing scams. He kind of covered this, Ku kind of covered this, but this is actually my email. And I get them all the time too, right? You guys probably get them all the time too. It just shows that this is not abnormal. So the side on the left is the actual email. And as you can see up top, angeljames74365 @gmail is pretending to be Norton. Pretty easy to spot and just delete, right? Don't click it like I did. I have security software, that's what I did, but this is a PDF document. It can have malicious software that installs on your computer if you do click it. So just be wary of even checking it. If you read that email, the angeljames@gmail, and it's supposed to be Norton, obviously it's fake, right? It's not going to be that. It's going to be something very official like Norton.com. And then the second one is kind of inconsequential. They don't know my real name. They know my email there. But at the bottom, you can see they want you to call. And that's the thing. These guys, like 90% of the time, are going to want to talk to you on the phone. That's all. All these scams begin with a text, with an email. But in the end, they're going to have you make telephone contact so they can convince you. They're salesmen, right? They're going to convince you there's something wrong, that you need to give them your credit card number, that you need to give them their checking account number, and then they're going to start scamming you. These are also text messages I got, and I just saved them because it's a little more personal, but I have an iPhone, as you can see, like I'm sure a lot of you do. But the best thing you guys can do is click that report junk button. As soon as you see something like this, where it says your package is shipped, we're charging your account for $1,800, they want you guys to panic, right? They're looking for you guys to go, oh my gosh, I didn't spend $1,800 on that. I'm going to call this number. Again, they want you to call the number. Or they want you to reply at all, and they know there's a live person on the other side. They don't really know. Most of this is automated. So they'll have these robo-texts, robo-scan callers that'll just wait for somebody to reply. And as soon as you say no, don't, or stop, now they know they have somebody in the hook, and they're going to call you. That's the next step. And yeah, as you can see, all the other ones, they look pretty obviously. The weird numbers on top, always double check. And if it says report junk, report it. This is kind of a newer scam I've seen. It's a combination like a business imposter tech support scam, but what will happen is you'll get this text message here it's from JP Morgan Chase, and they're going to say, did you attempt a Zelle payment for $5,000? If you reply anything, right now they know they have somebody live and they're going to call you next. And they're very eloquent on the phone. They might have an accent of some sort, they might not. There's no real easy way to tell. And they're going to say, hey, before we start talking, I just want to verify who you are. Can I get your username? And most of us are going to say, okay, username, right? That's not a big deal. But what they're doing in the background is using the forgot password feature on JP Morgan Chase's website, and they then will say, okay, I'm going to send you a code. Really, it's your bank sending a code because they said forgot password. So they're using that two-factor authentication. And then at that point, they'll ask you to read whatever code you received back to them, and they then have full access to your bank account. So they'll immediately lock you out, and they'll start doing their own Zelle payments to other money mule accounts or things like that, and empty your account within minutes. So just be super wary with this stuff. These guys are very advanced when it comes to technology, and they're always using it, like AI, whatever. These guys are using it to their benefit to scam, to steal money. This is what you guys will see with the text scam. This is like a computer screen, so it's going to say you have a virus and they want you to panic and call that number. Again, if they want you to call a number, just the best thing you guys can do is not call that number. And if you guys are thinking, it might be real, look it up. Look up, whoever your antivirus software is, look up that number yourself. Go to Google, search for the business number, verify. That's the best thing you do is not call the number that's on the screen. Call the company number that you can search for in Google, and they're all going to be right there. As soon as you do an internet search for whatever, that customer service is going to pop up with the number, give them a call, and you can verify that way. So where are these calls coming from? Well, places like India, places like Nigeria. They have literal call centers that look just like this. This is actually one of the real call centers that have been shut down. But these guys will have robocallers at their stations, and they will wait for you to answer. And I'm sure you've heard it where you'll hear the click, and you kind of wait hello, and then nothing happens, and all of a sudden they get on, and that's what these guys are doing. They're waiting for somebody to answer that call, and then they start chatting with you. And then as soon as they start chatting with you, you're at risk of being scammed. So when you get those calls, they sound like a scam call, they sound like a telemarketer call, hang up, don't even answer. This is a little bit of information from something recent with the United States Attorney's Office. They shut down one of these call centers that scammed over $10 million from 4,000 U.S. victims. So they're happening. This is just in 2021 was one of the big fraud rings that was shut down. But these things are just so common. They're out there. I'm sure you guys have heard this. I'm not supposed to play, but here's an example of what not to fall for. That's not going to work. But this is like that, hey, this is the IRS, call this number now because we're going to send out a arrest warrant for you. They're not. Nobody's going to do that. This is another sweepstakes lottery scam that we're seeing a lot too. You'll get an email like this, you'll get a text message, you'll get something in the actual physical mail that'll say, congratulations, you won. And then what they want you to do is pay upfront fees. It's called an advanced fee scam. So anytime somebody asks you to pay up front, and then if you pay taxes, if you pay the shipping, whatever up front, then they're going to give you something later, it's a scam. That's called an advanced fee scam. They're getting your money first, and they're never going to be anything in return. And often they'll have you purchase gift cards, they'll have you do things like that. No legitimate company is ever going to have you purchase gift cards. We heard it was kind of common with romance scam nowadays is usually always online. So it's the dating sites like christianmingle.com, ourtime.com. It's essentially an invitation for these guys to make fake profiles, pretend to be somebody else, and then scam somebody who's really looking for some companionship online. And it happens, like we saw the stats, a lot. It's not just a small amount. It's something people don't like to talk to. It's one of the more common ones that people will hide for so long from their family because A, they don't really want their family to know they're trying to date again. And then B, once they've fallen for this, these guys are very good at pretending they're in love with you. It's human emotion, right? You want connection, and they're very good at it. They're experts. So they will profess their love. They'll be very charming on the phone. They'll be very charming in emails. They'll be very thoughtful. They might send flowers. That's why it works, right? You wouldn't fall for it if they weren't charming and it wasn't that kind of stuff. And that's why they get so much money out of these things. And it's always, oh, I'm out of the country, I'm out of the state, I'm on business. They pretend to be some sort of a businessman with some company or whatever it is. But they'll never be able to talk to you in video chat because they're not who they say they are, right? The picture they show you is just somebody they stole the identity of. and then B, they'll never meet you in person. It's always almost like, oh, you know what, I'm flying into your city actually next week, let's meet. And then the day before, oh, my flight got delayed, I can't meet you. And then they just keep the person on the hook. It never ends. I've seen people lose millions. I've seen people sell their houses to pay for these guys. And then they'll have some crazy thing happen where they need money for some reason, right? They're gonna start asking for money. Unfortunately, those victims are most often turned into what's called money mule. A money mule is essentially somebody who has fallen for the scam and is now receiving other victims' money. It's so common that what happens is they'll use multiple victims who they've romanced to send money to each other unwittingly, and they'll say, hey, I have a friend who's gonna send me the money for the thing we talked about, whatever. It's going to be $50,000 in your account tomorrow. When it hits your account, then I need you to forward it on to the next account, or I need you to buy Bitcoin, or I need you to sell it somewhere, I need you to buy a gift card, whatever it is. And they're literally laundering money through an unwitting victim. Somebody just doesn't realize they're laundering money. And they do that to prevent law enforcement like me from catching them, right? So the account that I see from my victim in our area, say Milpitas victims come to me, it's going to be another victim. So they're creating a layer that we have to jump through to catch them. And sometimes it's 2 or 3 layers. And by the time we really catch up, the money's gone, or it's another victim. The problem is when we get into like the witting and complicit victims, that's somebody who starts like gaining money and they know that they're involved in that whole fraud ring. So we do prosecute those people, unfortunately. So how do you avoid all this? It's all based on panicking, becoming flustered, and making hasty decisions. So that's what they want, is when you receive that call, they want you to feel flustered so that they can prey upon that. So you act quickly. You don't call a friend. You don't call a family member and say, hey, this sounds weird. They want to keep you on the phone. There's always some sort of urgency, so just stop, right? And what's the worst that can happen if you hang up? Probably nothing, right? If there is something going on, you can always take a few extra minutes to verify. Call your granddaughter if it's a granddaughter scam where they're pretending to be in jail and they need money. While you're on the phone with them, if you don't feel comfortable hanging up, have your spouse call, have a friend call, use a landline to call one of your family members and says, hey, somebody's on this line, what's going on? Take the time to verify, don't make those hasty decisions. And then just verify everything, like I said, with Google. Go on those websites and look up the customer service number. Don't call the ones that's given to you. So how do you report it? This was kind of talked about, but FTC is probably the #1 source, and Adult Protective Services in our county is going to be the #1 source. So if you guys have been scammed or you've lost money, no matter what kind it is, what kind of scam it is, you can call Adult Protective Services, and they will then contact the right agency for you. They'll cross-report, they'll contact our office, they'll contact the local police department, whatever it is. And that's it. That's me. If you guys that is my office number. Feel free to call me if you have questions after this, but I will be here for a little while to answer any further questions.
Thank you, Joe, and another big hand for all the presenters. Yeah. Awesome. So we do have a little bit of time now for some questions. So we'll have, we'll start with you. And are you guys ready to take a few questions? Okay, here we go.
Do you mind? I have 3 questions, each for each topics. Okay. The first question is for the license board. Is the contractor's license for the contractor personally or for their group? Because I experienced a contract, I asked the license. This is why I don't have license myself, but I do have a license for our company or in our group. Is that legal? And also, the licensed contractor must have a insurance, or the liability insurance, or their like the working compensation. But I logged to the license of the contractor. This is where I don't have a working compensation because I don't have any employees. I'm the boss. I have not protection for my employees. I have 0 employees. But that's not true. The team has 5 people to do the job. 1 boss, 4 employees, right? But he said no. So this is my first question. The second question, if you don't mind, is for the annuity. The annuity, in my understanding, is a very good insurance protection product. Secondly, maybe can be used as investment. Secondly. My question is, even for the very simple annuity, like a fixed annuity, it's hard to say they use my money and invest it, put some gains and share the gain with me. And that's their cost, right? And the profit. So I have a case that when I was 65, so if you could exercise some money here, okay, you have 5% for 20 years. But this is all of my money.
So the annuity question, Doria would be able to answer that. You're going to have to write that down on a card, and we'll get to the Department of Insurance for you on that. Did you get the other?
And my third question is the BPA.
Okay, so to answer the question regarding if you're working as an employee for a contractor, you are an employee, you do not need a license. However, if you're being categorized as a 1099, then you need a license. Otherwise, you are an employee and you are deemed an employee. There is no such thing as a 1099 in construction. It does not exist. You will be audited and you will lose. And EDD will fine you and will take the money that is due compensated. It's really important to understand this concept. There is no such thing as an independent contractor in construction, full stop. You will be deemed an employee. And if you are not carrying workman's comp, next year you will lose your license. It will be a law that requires you to have workman's comp, whether you have employees or not. This will be mandated by the state license board. So if you do not have workman's comp next year, you will lose your license. Full stop.
Great. Do we have another question? Let's limit it to 1 per person. We have 10 minutes. Thank you.
My question was about this gel pen. Apparently they've run out of gel pens. Where can I buy them?
Hi, thanks. And so if you want to purchase those gel pens, they are available like at any office store. So Staples, Office Max, Office Depot. You go there and they should know what it is because a lot of businesses that write checks use it. It's known as an anti-theft or anti-fraud or anti-scam pen. Basically, the ink is, again, non-washable. But I know I ran out. If you want one, all you have to do is email me, and we will send you a pen for free. So just email me. It'll be directly from me. We'll need your address, but we'll mail it to you for free. So thank you.
Great. We have another question here, and by the way, as you're leaving, please keep it quiet and be respectful of those who are asking questions. Go ahead.
So I have a real basic question, okay? So I've heard talk about, oh, just hang up the phone, delete that or close that down or something like that. Doesn't anybody then go back and block the thing? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, if it's a message to you or if it's an email to you, if you just delete the email, it still can get, tomorrow they can send you another email. If you like getting all the stuff and you're just deleting, if you really want to stop it all from coming in, or a lot of it, you got to start blocking it, right?
Yes, that is correct. The best action, especially if you have Gmail or any other big popular email services, they have like a spam, or they even have like a blocking. So if you're getting emails that you suspect that are phishing attempts, for most part, you can report them as phishing, and what Google or Yahoo or whatever email system you have will usually see that. They'll log in the email address, and if they get a lot of reports from not just you, but from other people, they'll start filtering out those emails so that you shouldn't see those again. But it's a long process, and every little email that you block is contributing to helping you and other people.
We'll take it this side.
I have a question about the contract. That happens to me a lot. Because they are like way ahead of the They give you all the pages of the contract, and you read it very carefully, and you have to sign it. And at this time, everything they say is verbal. At the end, after you sign all these papers, which they give you sometimes one by one, they all of a sudden enter an amendment. But when you read the amendment, it says that the contractor can change the condition of this contract anytime they want. What are we supposed to do at this time?
So if there's an unforeseen condition on the project, so for instance, if you had to do some structural repair, and all of a sudden they pull the drywall off and there's dry rot, nobody anticipated that. There are things called unforeseen conditions, and they do happen, unfortunately, in our business. Okay? So it's important that if you don't think that that change order is fair and reasonable, it's okay to get multiple quotes to do the unforeseen condition. Just because you have a contractor on contract doesn't mean he has to do that work. Okay? If you don't think it's fair and reasonable. If he says, well, this work's going to take me another $10,000, okay, thanks for giving that our price. You get another quote. I said, I can do that for $1,000. Just because you have one person under contract to do the original scope of work does not mean you have to give him all the work that may not be foreseen. You certainly get someone else do the unforeseen work at a fair and reasonable price, and then have him continue with the original work after that. It is arduous. It takes more diligence on your part, but if you don't think you're being treated fairly, then you have to do the extra work. Unforeseen conditions do happen, and it's unfortunate for you as a homeowner, but it is part of the business, unfortunately. We don't have X-ray eyes. We can speak offline if you'd like.
I got solar, and they come out and they put it up, and I paid part of it, and they said that they have to wait for PG&E. Well, PG&E haven't come. And then when I started doing check, the license that they give me, not into the license data. So I want to know, and they're still in business. That's the thing. So I need to know what I need to do to get my money back and to have the FBI go and close them down. This Bright Planet Solar Company.
I just want to mention one thing, and that is, if you have a specific case and you'd like to call our office, we can contact the agency for you and somebody can look into that. But if you have a general sense of answering the question, go ahead.
Yeah, that would be the appropriate approach.
Yeah, I have a question between the difference between liability insurance versus workman's compensation. Are they the same or they're different?
Great question. General liability insurance is a property insurance. So it protects your structure. In the event that, oops, I cut the wrong pipe, I've got a big flood in the basement, who's going to pay for that? Well, the contractor's insurance takes care of that. If he doesn't have insurance, they go after you, you're going to have to use your insurance, which means your insurance goes up. Right? So workman's comp is strictly for workers. If you've got a worker on the roof and he falls off the roof and he breaks a leg or worse, that insurance is no fault for the contractor, and the contractor takes care of his employee. If there is no workman's comp on that insurance policy, your policy will cover that cost for him to recuperate. And that, because you're the only one who's got the insurance now. Okay? So workman's comp is for workers. General liability is for your real property.
I'm going to take last two questions. I have two hands, and then afterwards they'll be here. You should chat with them, and then of course we are here to answer your questions from the office of the relief.
Hello, my name is Jesse Magat. I'm a broker associate and a loan officer. I've been protecting my clients from these scammers nearby here. Basically, it's a life insurance fraud, and they lost partially of their retirement funds transferring from them, from their clients to them. So I attended their group. I for 25 years ago, and now they just changed the name, and then it's a brand new name. They're still operating. They even meet on Tuesday at 7 o'clock nearby here. So how do we stop it?
So for a very specific case and scenario, and there's a lot of probably personal information, definitely want to get in contact with Assembly Member Alex Lee's office, and then they could get in contact with either one of us, and we can get you to the right person. I think since it sounds like it's a life insurance, it's probably going to be the Department of Insurance, but there might be other details which you may want to include. It really starts at submitting a complaint. And from there, the complaint is all the information, right? Emails, receipts, invoices, whatever. We're going to need all that kind of evidence to start an investigation. But yeah, really the first step is to get in contact with Alex, Assembly Member Lee's, and then they'll forward it over to us and get you taken care of.
And we have contact information on the slide.
What is crypto?
I'll just do a very high level. Crypto is, think of it as a digital asset, right? It's not a hard asset like real estate or stocks and bonds. It's more of like a digital asset, so it kind of exists in the cloud. That's a very simplified way. There's a lot more technical term, but what's happening is a lot of individuals, in terms of scams, a lot of scammers may try to say, hey, this cryptocurrency or this crypto asset is worth this much money, but I'm going to sell it to you for this much. Or they might be saying, hey, tomorrow this cryptocurrency is going to go up, buy now, right? And so what they're really trying to do is they're trying to scam you to buy cryptocurrency or assets that aren't really worth anything. It's a digital thing in the air. Right?
It's not real.
Okay, that's it. Thank you so much. Let's give the presenters a big hand. We could not do this without them. Thank you so much for being here today. We really appreciate it. Grab brochures on the way out. Make sure you sign the card.